Hello, Art and Art. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
So am I.
Good to talk to you here from Melbourne, Australia.
Thank you very much. I'm doing this because I love this album and I really want to promote it.
I love this album too, and let's talk it up. That's what we're here for. So Art Garfunkel and Art Garfunkel Jr., welcome to noise11.com. This is not the first time I've seen you together, because on stage, I think the date was the 9th of July 2002, the Palais Theatre in Melbourne. I think I may have seen a young Art Jr. on stage with his dad that night.
You remember, Junior? I don't remember.
That tour of ours, that Australian tour of ours, we did about 10 different shows in 10 different cities. I was maybe 12, 13 years old. It left quite an impression on me. We went to Newcastle, we went to Hobart, Tasmania, we went to your lovely town, Sydney, Gold Coast, everywhere. It was great.
That's right. And at the Palais Theatre in Melbourne, out walked 12-year-old Art Jr., and I remember that crop of red hair.
What happened to it? I don't know where it went.
Art, it was like you had a mini-me.
It's gotten darker or blonder. I can't describe it.
Yeah. Congratulations on the Father and Son album. It's not the first time you two have been recording together. There was the album just in 2023, Evergreen, that had 4 collaborations on it, and also the 22 album also had 4 songs on it. Was that the start of the decision to put a full album together?
I think so, right? I think, my father and I are well into this thing. We know how to deal with each other in the studio. We have it down like a finely tuned engine. We love to make these albums together. And my father graced my first and second hit albums in Germany to the point where we said, let's just kick it up to the international world and present ourselves in English and see what happens. And I had this concept come into my head about a year and a half ago to make a modern orchestral record with all of our favorite songs from the 20th century, or as many as would fit on a record. As you know, we have a vinyl record out, which we're very proud of, as well as a CD and streaming, Spotify, everything else, Amazon. But you can't put all that many songs on a vinyl record. The more songs, the worse the quality. So if you put like 14, 15 songs, then the quality suffers. So we had to leave out all these gems that we also wanted on it, but we concentrated our favorite songs, and I'm so happy we did. And we created this Garfunkel and Garfunkel Father and Son album.
That song itself, the Cat Stevens song, because, we can tie that back to a couple of our albums ago when you recorded Morning is Broken by Cat Stevens. He's obviously a very respected and favourite songwriter of yours.
Cat Stevens.
He's an old friend of mine. We've worked together a few times. He's an old friend, Cat Stevens. Very talented guy.
We've enjoyed his shows down in Australia on numerous occasions. About the song with Cat Stevens, what he says of the song Father and Son, I've never really understood my father, but he always let me do whatever I wanted. He let me go. Is that Art Jr.'s a reflection of how your father and the relationship you have?
Let me just tell you, that speaks to me so profoundly. For me, this song, Father and Son, is the absolute backbone of our album, because I'm a believer in a concept project, and I wanted to have that song inspire the rest of the album. And it absolutely does resonate with me. My father has given me infinite emotional support with no judgment whatsoever. Now, I'm happy to say I wasn't a bad kid or the kind of person to provoke problems, but I've always known that whatever career path I would choose, my father would support me wholeheartedly.
You give a son his life and his life. You give a son his life and his life belongs to him. It's a gift. To be a parent is to offer a child their own definition of how they will determine what their life is. So it belongs to him, and I've just watched him develop as this wonderful human being, this very musical human being.
And that ties into the song Father Son, that my dad gave me these ingredients to become the guy that I am now.
Mm. Art Senior, I love the reference to the past with the album cover, replicating Fate for Breakfast.
You noticed many albums ago. That's right. Well, this is an echo of the past brought up into the present. That's right. That was my album cover.
I notice you haven't done a lot of renovation in the house in those 40, 50 years.
No, I like it as it is.
Even the cupboard is in the same place.
I was an architecture student, and my roommate, Paul Krause, remained an architect. And this was his design to keep the kitchen kind of childlike kindergarten art.
Rustic as well, I would say.
Yeah, rustic is right.
Yeah. I love the curation of the songs on this album. They speak to a certain time, particularly the beautiful version you do of Cyndi Lauper's Time After Time, which I understand was recorded in the same studio that Cyndi recorded her album.
Yes, was it?
Power Station, yeah.
Power Station, same place.
Apparently so.
Yeah. And it was a total coincidence. We didn't plan it that way. Time After Time is a song that I adore, and I'm the 80s music fan. I love all types of, Flock of Seagulls, OMD, Ultravox, all that kind of music, Cock Robin, all those groups from the 80s, and, of course, Cyndi Lauper. And I said, Dad, I know you're more, 50s, 60s, 40s, Great American Song, but let's have some of these 80s songs on there. And Time After Time is such a classic tune that we agreed to it, and then we got in the studio, Power Station, all ready to start recording, as we do, put the cans on, us artists call headphones cans, and the engineer shouted from across the room, "Hey guys, did you know Cyndi Lauper recorded this song in that very position you're standing in the studio back in the 80s?" And we thought that was such a cool coincidence. It was absolutely not planned.
Wow, that's incredible. Some of the 80 songs on here, I Won't Let You Down, the Eurythmics song that you cover on here.
Comes the rain.
Yeah, they're all of a particular time, Art Jr., that is slightly before you would have been a radio listener.
Yeah, that's right. It's right. They're not part of my generation. I was born at the end of 1990, but we're not none of us are limited to what we can hear. I love the 80s sound. I love the synths and the drum machines and that early electronic sound. It's just
it's a shame you missed
my dad has a different taste in that regard. But we came together on our orchestral interpretations of these tunes. But yeah, I missed the 60s. I wish I'd been for all of those decades present.
Yeah, Art Senior, you're not shy of going back and revisiting the past. You do it with old friends on this record, and you've gone back and reconstructed the Simon and Garfunkel classics with Art Jr. on the two previous records.
Well, I have a famous old friend, and so this is another duet. But I must say, working with my son, like Simon and Garfunkel, is a very musical experience.
We're presenting to the world this exciting new duo, Garfunkel and Garfunkel.
Yeah.
And we're just getting the ball rolling.
Yeah, I guess when you go back and revisit some of the older songs, it's almost a passing of the torch from Art to Art Jr. as well, because Art Jr., you can carry these songs on for another 30, 40, 50 years performing them live.
My biggest wish is that this is the world's slowest, most graceful passing of the torch. I hope it happens over a long period of time so I can have an infinite number of more cherished moments with my dad in the studio and on stage. That's my greatest wish.
I couldn't help but notice there is the Carly Simon song on here, You Belong to Me. So we do have a Simon and Garfunkel song here.
Well, that's very funny. Yeah.
Very funny. That's right, Simon.
That's a good point.
Yeah. When was the last time you talked to Paul? Art?
Not long ago. We warmed up a friendship that had lapsed for years, but we ran into each other just recently. Paul Simon has an ex-wife who moved into the same place that I'm living in, and I saw his son, their son, Harper. Harper set up a dinner with Paul Simon, and after years of estrangement, I had a great time with Paul. We talked about how the years have had hurt in it, and I must have hurt his feelings. I said things to the English press, knowing that it could be dodgy talking to the English press, but I gambled that I would shake up the soft image of Simon and Garfunkel and be a little spicy. So I said things that might have hurt his feelings, and before I knew it, there were tears. I was crying. I moved my own self just to remember these days. There were hugs. It was a very warm experience to be with Paul. I don't know where it will lead to now, but it satisfies my soul. You can't go through life without resolving old friends. Life is love. We all love each other secretly, and we must get to it before it's too late.
It's beautiful. I did see a recent interview with him on Howard Stern talking about the fact that you went into acting, and I think he felt a bit lost when you became an actor. Do you regret the acting jobs that you did? Would you have liked to have continued on for one more record in retrospect?
No. I came to him and I said, "What do you think of myself being an actor?" And he said, "If Mike Nichols has offered you this acting role, you got to take it. There's no choice." So I followed along.
Two of the biggest movies of 1970 and 1971. What was it like working opposite Jack Nicholson?
Oh, fantastic. Jack just called me on my birthday. He sent me a bottle of wine with my birthday wishes. I haven't spoken to him in a while, but it was great. There he was on TV with a few good men that night, so I got to see Jack on film. What a genius of an actor.
Absolutely.
Colonel Nathan Jessup is great, Paul.
Absolutely. What about you, Art Jr.? Any aspirations for getting into acting?
I could envision myself getting involved in the world of acting. One issue that is difficult for me is to consider playing the role of a character that I could never imagine myself being in real life. I respect those who can do it, but it always makes me feel a little bit silly to put myself in that position. But yeah, maybe I should take a couple acting classes. Life is short. I might as well start now.
Excellent. Look, it's been my pleasure to talk to both of you. I hope we do at least get to see Art Jr. come down here for another tour, and Art Sr. maybe come down for a holiday and join him, and a little walkout role. I'd like to see a reenactment at the Palais Theatre in Melbourne where Art Jr. is the performer and Art Sr. is the one that gets brought on at the end of the show.
You know, I have some great friends in Australia, cattle ranchers, and really great friends, and they've invited me down there. So I do. So
Bring the band. Bring the band.
Yeah, I might 2025, and I see if I can't spend a little time in Australia. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go all around with a car.
Art Sr., thank you for all the decades of pleasure that you've given me personally, and Art Jr., I look forward to more decades of pleasure from music to come from you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Me too. I look forward to more of this.
Okay. It's been a pleasure to talk to both of you.